Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another one of my weekly updates. I am Zach Pasquarello. I am a bookkeeper. I own Harrisburg Bookkeeping, and I recently started a box truck business, Route 20 Trucking Company. I've decided to share some of my experience utilizing my knowledge of bookkeeping and accounting, and specifically QuickBooks, and I want to share my experience with my box truck business from a unique perspective. If you all have been following along, you know by now, I typically just show my QuickBooks account. It's my actual QuickBooks account, and I just kind of give everyone who might be thinking about starting a box truck business or might have recently started, or maybe you're 5 years into the game, but I just give you a perspective and some insight on bookkeeping and QuickBooks specifically towards the box truck business. So um, as you can see here, yes, I sold my first truck, and if you've been following along, you know this first truck has been the bane of my existence, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But I still have another truck, so I'm not going out of business. I just sold my first truck, which was my 18-foot box truck, and if you are thinking about getting into the box truck business, please, please, please do not get anything smaller than a 24-foot box. I made a terrible mistake. It cost me literally thousands of dollars, but I'm finally done with that 18-foot box truck, and I'll talk about it in a second here. But if you guys like my videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, give the video a like, post a comment. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys might have. And if you guys need QuickBooks, bookkeeping, taxes, any help with that, feel free to reach me out. Check out my website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com. All right, let's jump right into it. Let's go straight to my QuickBooks account. Let's see here. My fancy little thumbnail. Get rid of that. Open up my QuickBooks account. All right, let's see if we can't get things situated here. All right. So I want to talk, this is a good opportunity. I want to talk specifically about the sale of your truck. So if you guys buy a truck, sell a truck, whatever, I'm going to show you what that looks like from an accounting and bookkeeping perspective. Real quick, I know this stuff is not exciting, but if you guys are in this business, I promise you this will really help you out. This is good information, and I really strongly recommend you guys either use QuickBooks or some other software, just whatever you guys use. Just please, from the very beginning, keep accurate records for your own internal management of your business, budgeting, planning, but also obviously for taxes. So QuickBooks is really great for tracking your expenses, tracking your revenue, and tracking all of that. So here I'm going to talk specifically about buying my truck and then selling my truck and kind of what that looks like with QuickBooks and from a bookkeeping perspective. So here back June 11th, I spent $500 as a down payment for Penske. So what that looks like came out of my credit card, $500, but really important, it doesn't go towards an expense, it goes towards an asset. So anytime you buy machinery, equipment, building, anything like that, it's not an expense. You're buying an asset, a fixed asset, something that's going to last typically more than 12 months. And trucks, buildings, machines, equipment, that all lasts more than 12 months. So I took money out of my credit card, and I moved it towards this fixed asset truck one. So that was $500. So if you guys are thinking about buying a truck from Penske, they typically require a $500 deposit. Next, June 25th, a couple weeks later, I got a loan. So I got a loan for $22,400. So I increased my liability, my loan, truck one loan. I called it real simple, long-term liability over 5 years. And then I also increased the value of the asset on my books. So the value of my truck went up by $22,000, $22,400, and the amount of my loan also went up, $22,400. So accounting is all about balancing the equation, right? Assets equals liabilities plus equity. So if your asset goes up, a liability goes up. If your asset goes down, maybe equity goes down. It's all about balancing. So here's how we balance that equation. Your asset goes up and your liability goes up. And then another down payment, I had to pay 20% down with my bank. I won't get into that, but here, this is really important. So the sale of my truck. So I'll open up this journal entry here real quick for you guys. And I know this is not the most exciting stuff, but just bear with me because I think this is important an important thing to note. So I sold the truck for $26,675, but I originally bought the truck for $28,000 and some change due to closing costs. So how do you capture that difference? It's called a gain or loss on a sale of asset, and that will reduce your tax liability. That in itself is a net loss or a net gain. I mean, if you buy your truck and sell it for more than what you paid for, but you want to make sure you capture that difference. So just because you sell your truck, you're not done with it. You can still potentially either capture some revenue, capture some income from it, or the flip side, reduce your tax liability, reduce your net income, and pay less taxes at the end of the year. So that's exactly what happened. I bought my truck and I sold it for a little bit less than what I bought it for. But at the very least, yeah, I might have lost some money, but it's still a business expense. It still reduces your tax liability at the end of the year. So you really want to make sure you're capturing. Anytime you buy a new truck, record the bill of sale, record it as an asset on your books. That way, whenever you go to sell the truck, you're able to capture either a gain or a loss on the sale of that asset. So for this week, unfortunately, I will have a $1,759 loss on my profit and loss statement. So I just wanted to share that real quick, kind of a good opportunity to share that. I did sell my first box truck, which is an 18-foot box truck. Never looking back, never going back. Like I said, if you're thinking about getting into the box truck business, please, 24 feet long or 26 feet long, doesn't really matter. It can still fit 12 pallets either way. And then try to get it as tall as possible. 103 inches is ideal, but definitely nothing less than 8 feet tall. And then it's pretty standard, like 8 feet wide, 8.5 feet wide, whatever. They're all pretty much the same length or the same distance wide. Standard pallet is 4 feet, so you want to make sure it's at least 8 feet wide. That way you can fit 2 pallets side by side. But as tall as possible, as long as possible. That way you can fit as much as possible in the back of your box and make as much money as possible. Okay, so I'll try to keep this brief. I'm going to go over my profit and loss real quick for the first week of October. It's not looking too pretty, but I do want to touch on a couple things. So we'll see. We'll go October 3rd through October 9th, the most recent week, sorry. Okay, so like I said, I sold that first box truck, and I wanted to show you how badly that box truck was doing. So if I go into here to my sales, my 18-foot box truck, let me make sure this is on the screen. Yeah, my 18-foot box truck only made $1,000 last week. That's it, $1,000 last week. But what I was spending, I had to pay my driver, I had to pay for fuel, and I had to pay insurance. So my driver, I only made $1,000, and my driver, he made $900. So right there off the bat, pretty obvious that this truck was not going to be profitable. And then I spent $300 on fuel, and I spent $842 a month on insurance just for that truck. So that comes out to be about $225 a week. So right there, that's almost $1,500 in expenses just last week for that truck, and I only made $1,000. That is why I was so eager to get rid of the truck. I was literally losing money by the second with that 18-foot box truck, but that truck is gone, never looking back, and I'm moving on. 26-foot box truck forever. Okay, so I'll go over my 26-foot truck and the money it made. I talked about it in my last video, but serious cash flow issue. A couple of the loads that I tried to factor were unfactorable, so I've got like $6,000 to $8,000 outstanding of accounts receivable. But last week I did get paid $2,900 for 2 loads that I did probably a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure the exact date of those 2 loads, but $2,900 in 1 week. It's not a good week. It's not a terrible week. I did more. I think I grossed like $3,500 last week, but that money obviously won't come for at least a week, sometimes 30 days if they're not factorable. So that's the money I made. More importantly, though, I want to talk about the money I spent. So I spent $500 on dispatch fees last week because my dispatcher got me about $5,000 of revenue, so I pay him 10%. And as I get more and more trucks, I'll be able to negotiate that percentage down. So first truck, yeah, I might be spending 10% on a dispatcher, but as you add to your fleet, as you are earning more revenue for yourself and your dispatcher, you should be able to negotiate a lower rate. Hopefully, ideally, once I get 2 or 3 or 4 trucks, I'll be able to get down closer to 5% for those dispatching fees. Talk about it every time, but I pay my driver $75 a night to stay in a hotel, so he ended up making $375, basically a reimbursable expense for him. Spent a little bit over $1,000 in fuel. So fuel, that's not going to change. That's not going anywhere. Probably every single week moving forward, I'll spend between like $1,000 and $1,300 in fuel. And I got hit with tires. So that's another reason why my profit's going to be even lower this week. But I got hit with tires. Where is that? Yeah, truck 2. I paid for my DOT inspection and got an oil change, $314. I'm going to try to learn how to do that myself. That way I can teach my drivers, because I'm sick of paying $300, $400 for an oil change. Oil in and of itself is like less than $100, I think, for 5 gallons. And then the filter is like $30. So I should be able to change my own oil for less than $200, because I have to do it every single month. So I'm going to save a lot of money by doing that. And then tires, I spent $783 on 2 new tires. So I budget $1,000 a month on maintenance, and right there, that's $1,000. So hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, no more maintenance issues with this truck until November. That way we can stay pretty darn close to our budget of $1,000 a month on maintenance. We'll see. We shall see. And then right here, that loss on sale of assets shows up on your profit and loss statement. So all in all, negative $5,000, mostly because I got hit with my insurance bill. So that's for the whole month. That's not going to happen every week. Got hit with insurance. I got hit with that loss on sale of asset. Got hit with the entire $1,000 last week in maintenance. And what else did that's pretty much all. That was really all that was unusual last week. I feel like every video I make for the past 3 months, there's always been something unusual. So maybe that's just going to be the new norm. But the biggest things that I've noticed so far is cash flow issues. Even with the factoring company, you got to make sure you're looking at how much money you have coming into your business, because you don't want to run out of money. You don't want to be able to pay your fuel company. You don't want to be able to pay your drivers, your dispatcher. You don't want to be able to pay your mechanic. You want to make sure you have enough cash in the next 2 to 3 weeks to pay for all those expenses. So cash flow definitely is an issue, with brokers sometimes paying 30, 60 days. Now that we're done with the 18-foot truck, that's not going to be an issue anymore. But tires, that's always going to happen. I plan on getting all 6 new tires every year. So that's just kind of the name of the game. Whenever you're driving 3,000 miles a week, you just need new tires, especially hauling 10,000 pounds. That really puts a lot of wear and tear on your tires. So yeah, that is where we're sitting so far. We'll do, let's see, it's 11 days into the month. We'll see. I think we have a little bit extra time. We'll see how my profit and loss. Yeah, I got like 1 more minute. We'll see how we're doing for the whole month total. Negative 3,500. Not good, but it's getting better. Last week was the last week of the 18-foot truck. I finally sold it. I sold it to a really good guy. He's got a landscaping company. He's actually going to get rid of the box, trash the liftgate, turn it into a dump truck. He's got a really great company locally around here. He cuts down trees and does a bunch of landscaping. So really great dude. Happy I sold it to him. He's got a good truck, well maintained. But yeah, negative $3,500. Fingers crossed. Next week will be positive. I'm manifesting it now. I'm putting it out there. I have a lot of faith. I've got an amazing driver. I've got a top-notch dispatcher. I've got a good mechanic. I've built a pretty good team, and I'm pretty confident that we will be profitable next week. So I appreciate you guys all watching my videos. If you like the videos, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, reach out. I'd be happy to work with you. I'd be happy to help. Check out my other videos if you guys are just starting and you want to see kind of the beginning of my journey. Check out the first couple of videos. I shared all the expenses I had, all the startup costs associated with starting my business. And the last little thing I want to say is just please get a 26-foot box truck. Okay, that's it for the video. I really appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned for next week because I will have a profitable update to share. Have a good week and drive safe.